Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome to The Last Lap. In today's video we're going to be breaking down all of the penalties that have come out this week, along with NASCAR driver Alex Bowman not being able to race this weekend at Talladega. We're going to talk about all those details, but before we hop into it, just want to remind you guys to hit that like button and subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it if you did that, and check out our social media pages, which are linked in the description as always. Unfortunately, it is just me today on the show. You guys are stuck with me. Matthew is on a work trip, so he could not be here, but we really want to get this video out because there's a lot of important stuff for us to discuss. But before we hop into any of that, me and Matthew, we both want to send our thoughts and prayers to everybody affected by Hurricane Ian, Florida, the Carolinas, wherever else this storm is going to hit. It's been really bad, so we just send our thoughts and prayers to anybody affected by this hurricane. But we're going to start off this video talking about a highlight, a good thing, because the rest of the video, not so much is going to be that way. Connor Daly, he will be running for the money team at the Charlotte Roval next weekend, so that's really cool to be able to see him get that opportunity. Matthew thinks the same thing. Wonderful opportunity for him. Hopefully that's a foot in the door for him to maybe potentially do another start in the future, maybe with the Project 91 team, with Trackhouse or something else. So really cool to be able to see IndyCar drivers hop into NASCAR as always. But now this is where we get into the interesting stuff. We're going to talk about Ty Gibbs and William Byron's penalties. Ty Gibbs was fined $75,000 and the team lost 25 owner points. In my opinion, I feel like this was justified because this was his second offense of the season, according to NASCAR at least. If you guys remember back in Martinsville, him and Sam Mayer got into it, and Ty Gibbs was fined $15,000 for hitting Sam Mayer's car on pit road after the race. This is his second offense. He's fined $75,000 now. Matthew, on the other hand, he thinks Ty Gibbs should have been suspended for this incident, and I do kind of agree with that because this incident did take place on pit road. He pretty much door slammed Ty Dillon almost into, I think it was Brad Keselowski's pit box, with pit crew members and officials standing right there. But I do think if Ty Gibbs has another incident like this that needs to be reviewed by NASCAR, that he should be suspended for at least one, if not more, races. If suspension was in place, I think it would have been good for a cup race. I don't think this should impact his Xfinity championship at all. But yeah, that happened with Ty Gibbs and William Byron now. He was fined $50,000 and will lose 25 points after his incident with Denny Hamlin on the racetrack. If you guys don't already know, Denny Hamlin kind of ran Byron up the track off of turn number 2. They made contact. Maybe they made contact, I don't know, but William Byron ended up hitting the wall, damaging his car a little bit. And then following that, under caution, William Byron tried to show his displeasure to Denny Hamlin and accidentally spun him out under caution. So that is the penalty for all of that. William Byron went from plus 17 points above the cut line to minus 8 as we head into Talladega next week. And Hendrick Motorsports will appeal this penalty. I'm not really sure why. I don't think they will win this appeal, but I'm sure they're going to try to get any kind of points back they can, because 25 points is a major penalty, especially for a driver like William Byron in the playoffs, who, like I said, went from plus 17 to minus 8 as we head into Talladega, one of the wildest races of the season. And my quick thoughts about this, like I said in our Texas review video, I feel like NASCAR should have handled this in the race itself and just sent William Byron to the tail end of the longest line, or made him have a lap or two penalty. And if they did that, I think the most points he would have lost was like 15 or something like that. And he probably could have made his way back up to the field as well and only probably lost about 10 points. So I think the penalty is a little bit harsh for the crime, or not really for the crime, but for the positions that he lost. There's no way, I don't think he would have lost 25 positions on the racetrack if they even held him for 2 laps. I think the most he could have lost is 15, maybe 20. So I think NASCAR is definitely trying to send a message here. I don't know if they went through all those calculations or not. But yeah, 25 points lost for William Byron. And if he does not make it out of this round, he's going to look back on this incident at Texas and probably think I should not have done that. So William Byron is now 8 points below the cut line as we head into Talladega. And as we speak of Talladega, Alex Bowman, he is out of Talladega due to concussion protocol. Another one of these unfortunate circumstances where a driver has backed his car into the wall. We saw Kurt Busch do it at Pocono in qualifying, and now we have Alex Bowman during the race in Texas doing it. Both are now out due to concussion-like symptoms, and Matthew and I have already went over this several times about what needs to improve with these next-gen cars, and we both really hope that there's changes starting next season, because at this rate, I think everybody's kind of scared going into Talladega. Matthew and I we're both scared for the drivers going into Talladega. If someone has a small incident, kind of like what Alex Bowman had, where they just backed the car into the wall, we could have another driver out in the playoffs. And Kurt Busch, granted, I know that was kind of before the playoffs and he had a lot of time to recover, but this happened to Alex Bowman. He's racing for a championship right now. I know he was pretty much already below the cut line in a must-win situation, but he could have won Talladega and made it on to the next round. And if this happens this weekend, we could have another driver not make it to the round of 8 because they're injured. So I think there's a lot of, people are on thin ice as we head into Talladega, hoping for no major crashes that cause injuries or anything like that. And Alex Bowman's crash from the outside did not look that bad. The in-car camera slowed down in really slow motion, did show his head kind of jerk back and forth, which could have caused that concussion. But yeah, very unfortunate circumstances there, and I went in our last video that NASCAR needs to go over the safety, the tires, and the durability of these cars, with safety obviously being the number one priority. So hopefully NASCAR can make some major changes over the off-season. They're not going to do anything right now, obviously, because we're in the middle of the playoffs and all that, but hopefully NASCAR can make some changes. And one more quick thought from me about this is that the next-gen car, I believe they started testing it in 2019 at some point, and William Byron had an accident at the Charlotte Roval, and there was these rumors going around, about the safety of the car and the hits being hard and all that kind of stuff. And NASCAR had, if that was in 2019, which I believe it was, NASCAR had 2.5 years pretty much to make adjustments to this car, and they did not. And look what's happening this year. We've had 2 drivers out with injuries, several others complaining about injuries and all that stuff. And the NASCAR drivers, especially Kevin Harvick and Denny Hamlin, have made their voices known on Twitter that Denny Hamlin was one of the first drivers to be like, hey, this car is not safe, we do not need to be driving this. And NASCAR went forward with it anyways. So NASCAR is getting a lot of heat right now, and I'm not holding back either. I don't think anybody's holding back at this point. NASCAR is on full, the spotlight is on them. They need to fix this race car for next season, because everybody knows that it's NASCAR's fault. This is their car. They're the ones supplying them to the teams and all that stuff. So NASCAR better get their hands together, better, do their research, do everything they can, put a lot of money into fixing this race car for next season, so we don't have to talk about this anymore. But yeah, that is my quick little rant, and I'm sure Matthew would have pretty much said the same thing I did there. But we're going to talk Talladega now. Can we have our 5th straight non-playoff winner? That is very likely. We have drivers like Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher, Bubba Wallace, and several other really good super speedway racers, Austin Dillon, Ricky Stenhouse. So I think it is very possible for us to get another non-playoff winner. But the playoff drivers to watch are obviously the Penske Fords. They are always really good at Talladega, so I would expect them to be up towards the front and competing for the win. But yeah, let us know down below what you think about all of the penalties, the Alex Bowman stuff, what you think who's going to stand out this week at Talladega. We broke down a lot of stuff in this video, but we hope you guys did enjoy it. Make sure you guys check out our social media pages and make sure you're subscribed. But until next time, we will see you guys in the next video.